Hello and namaste. Welcome to our first lecture on Introduction to Instrumental Method of Analysis. Under this, it's not introductory, but we are taking a brief overview of whatever the content that to be covered in our whole syllabus. So, in the instrumental method of analysis, whatever the chapters are there which are directly dependent on the instrument that we are using. While up till now, in the first sem that we are study about the pharmaceutical analysis one, in which whatever the syllabus are there, that is basically is a non-instrumental syllabus in which we can done titration and which are non-instrumental, and you studied some of the instrumental part like potentiometry, conductometry, polarography, and uh, so many chapters. I mean, these are the few chapters are there which are instrumental based. But now, uh, in your seventh sem of instrumental method of analysis, at itself name indicate there are the certain instrument which are used for to the analysis of the drug. In this there are the certain objective. So whatever the learning objective or the outcomes, we have to know what is the instrumental analysis, interaction of matter with electromagnetic radiation, how it interact with the matters. There is a non-ionization classification, ionizable classification. So everything we have to be study, out of which non-ionizable part is in your instrumental analysis syllabus. Then the chromatographic separation of the drug. You have to identify or we have to separate out the different drugs by the use of chromatography, and we have to check or we have to do a qualitative and quantitative analysis of drug. So these are the our learning outcomes. Then in the where we have to study. So initially there is a first point to know the instrument analysis. So basically, as in the first point, instrument analysis, where we whatever the kind of instrument that we are using. So directly we are discussing about the instrument like UV spectroscopy, instrument like infrared spectroscopy, instrument like fluorescence spectroscopy, then instrument like atomic emission spectroscopy, atomic absorption spectroscopy, and the final there is a nepheloturbidimetry, where nephelometry and turbidimetry are the two different parts. Whole comes together that we have to be study in this syllabus. So these are the part that are the learning outcomes comes under the electromagnetic radiations. So first of all, move towards, we must know what is the EMR. EMR means what? Electromagnetic radiation. So electromagnetic radiation itself name, it indicates electric and magnetic radiation which are perpendicular to each other with the propagation of the light. As it is indicated in the definitions, EMR consists of self-sustaining, oscillating. It always oscillates. Means then there is an oscillation takes place, oscillating electric, and the second one is the magnetic field at a right angle. They are always perpendicular or always right angle to each other to the direction of propagation. Means the direction of propagation, it is unidirection. As we know, light travels in the form which is generally unidirection, but whatever the lights that is propagated, it does not require a supporting medium. We don't require any kind of supporting medium. As we know, there are the various vacuums are there, air is also there. light travels, all things we know, and travel through empty space at the speed of light. It can travel with the help of empty space through or with the speed. And what is the speed is there is speed to light. We know what is the speed of light. It's c is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, as we discussed in the lower side. EMR is a form of energy. Electromagnetic radiation is nothing but the form of energy emitted and absorbed by charged particles. Whatever the particles are there, emitted and absorbed by the charged particles, which exhibit wave like wave. One thing, light always propagate in a straight direction. Okay, will I see simply see light, or we can think that the light what it travels is there, it is in the form of arrow or a straight direction, but always light travels or propagate in the form of wave, or whatever the propagation is there, that propagation like the wave or propagation as a wave motion at a velocity of c, and whatever the speed of the light is there, that is proportional to the velocity, that is c, 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So they can travel 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. In a 1 second, they can travel to that much amount. So in the diagrammatically, we can explain what is the how it means the perpendicular or right angles or propagation of the light, as well as the whatever the wavelength is there. So in this diagram, you can able to see there is a magnetic field. Exactly same, there is an electric field also there. So whatever the direction of propagation, the two fields are at right angles. They always take at the right angle to each other and are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So direction of the propagation, they always in the perpendicular to or right angle to the perpendicular to each others where the propagation. And here you can able to see the two troughs. You can able to see the two crust and troughs. So whatever the distance between the two troughs, or whatever the distance between the two crust, that distance between troughs or the two troughs is known as wavelength. उसे हम क्या बोलते हैं, वेवलेंथ बोलते हैं, जनरली हैविंग अ साइन ऑफ लैम्बडा. While there is another part that comes as we are discussing, that the light is travels with the particular wavelength, particular speeds or velocity. So whatever the for traveling that require the energy, the more is the energy, जितनी ज्यादा उसमें एनर्जी होगी उतने ही स्पीड से वो ट्रैवल करेगा. नोट दैट पॉइंट, the maximum amount of energy it is having, the frequency that is having, the more उतना ही ज्यादा क्या करेगा वो travel करेगा, that get the travels faster. Or frequency generally measures in the hertz. And one thing you must have to know, that they are, whatever the wavelength is there, that wavelength is inversely proportional. और कभी भी क्या होती है, इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल रहती है फ्रीक्वेंसी से. जितनी ज़्यादा फ्रीक्वेंसी होगी उतनी ही कम वेवलेंथ होगी, और जितनी ज़्यादा वेवलेंथ होगी उतनी ही कम फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑलवेज रहेगी. ओके, सो व्हाट इज द फ्रीक्वेंसी डेफिनेशन? Equal number of waves. Okay, number of or hertz, number of waves that travels from a particular point, passes a given point per seconds. अब एक सेकंड के अंदर कितनी ज्यादा जाएगी? अब as we know that frequency अगर ज्यादा रहेगी तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा पास होगी. Frequency, if the frequency is less, what going to happen? Whatever that pass is going to be takes place, that is reduced. And on the basis of this one, so frequency is nothing but the if you set a particular points and we having a particular speed, उतनी ज़्यादा उसमें एनर्जी रहेगी. तो एनर्जी जितनी ज़्यादा रहेगी उतने ही नंबर ऑफ क्या हो गए, वेव्स उसमें से पास हो गए. सो इन जनरल वे नंबर ऑफ वेव्स पासेस अ गिवन पॉइंट. एक पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट से नंबर ऑफ वेव्स पास होते हैं, बट डिपेंड्स ऑन पर सेकंड, कितने एक ही सेकंड के अंदर कितने पास होते हैं, उसे हम बोलते हैं फ्रीक्वेंसी measured by hertz, inversely proportional to the wavelength. remember that point. So now we have to be discuss about the what is the electromagnetic radiation. If you able to see this EMR, and now there is comes electromagnetic spectrum, it is a part of electromagnetic radiation, where you can able to see the 6 point GXUIMR. So what is the GX? These are the six classifications of the electromagnetic spectrum, out of which first two comes under the ionizing species or ionization takes place, while the second one, remaining four, there is a non-ionizing, means there is a no ionization takes place. So ionizing comes under the gamma rays, then the X rays. So there are the two types, that is the gamma rays and the X rays, while in the second one, the non-ionizing species, there the comes the 4 point UV, infrared, microwaves, and radio frequency regions, that comes under this class. So in the UV, that is ultraviolet light, that is your first chapters. Then we have to study of the infrared spectroscopy. Then also we have to study the fluorescence spectroscopy. Then also we have to be study about the atomic emission, atomic absorption spectroscopy. So whole part comes under the certain type that we have to come to the non-ionizing. Whereas in the case of ionizing, gamma rays and X-rays under comes, where uh, generally non-ionizing or the regions that we have to be, and in the this diagram if you're able to see the 10 raised to minus 11, and here is the 10 raised to 20, this comes for the frequency. If you go from left hand side toward the right hand side from this diagram, you can able to see the energy goes on increasing. इधर से इधर एनर्जी बढ़ रही है, तो उसी समय इधर से इधर क्या बढ़ रही है, वेवलेंथ बढ़ रही है. तो जब एनर्जी बहुत ही ज्यादा होगी, 10 to 20 है एनर्जी, if energy is the more, at the same time what happen, whatever the wavelength is there, that wavelength is very less. So on the basis of this diagram you can able to see wavelength is inversely proportional to the frequency. So radio frequency is having a lesser frequency, whereas radio frequency is having the higher wavelength. While in the case of gamma rays, there is a pinpoint, you can able to see the pinpoint of gamma rays, where you can able to see the whatever the wavelength is there, which is very less, whereas energy is more. That's why there is a penetration takes place. In the if we take the example of X-ray, we can, what is the role of X-ray? The radiation get passed. They can pass penetrate from our skin, but not from the bone. So you can able to see if any kind of broken part is there, कुछ टूट गया है, कुछ हो गया है, तो हम एक्सरे से कैलकुलेट करते हैं. So that is the X-ray that can be utilized. Okay, so that is the part in the ionizing, non-ionizing. There is a difference part that explain that radiation that has enough energy. अब दोनों में भी एनर्जी है, लेकिन हमने पहले ही डिस्कस किया, ionizing radiation is having higher energy, non-ionizing having a lesser energy. Not so that's explain radiation that has enough energy to move atoms to vibrate. That can be enough energy to vibrate. Vibration means what? Movement of atom in a molecule called vibration. Vibration means what? Movement of atom in a molecule called the vibrations. But not enough energy to remove electrons. But it don't have that much of energy that can't remove any kind of electron. But in the whatever the process is there, well, in the case of ionizing radiation, the process by which neutral atom acquires a positive or a negative charge, where the ionization takes place, by which neutral atom can gain a particular charge, positive or negative, that caused by the particular ionization, means particular energy is there. Where ionization takes place, means there is a particular charge can takes place. Where the removal of the electron from the orbital can takes place, and as we know, whenever there is any kind of orbit is there, KLM, we know that one. Okay, so or SP hybridization part also there. ISP, we know, to PX to PY to PZ. One of the electron get reduced and it carries the positive charge. Okay, so net molecule can resulting in an ion pair where molecule would get net positive charge, free electron with negative charge. And what if the free electron is there with a negative charge gets over there? So that thing we going to be study in this one. Then there is a whatever the EMR or electromagnetic radiation is there. Generally, it is like the light, whatever the radiation that comes from the sunlight, it fall onto the earth, and as it falls, what going to happen? Certain get absorbed, some get scattered. Scattering is takes place in the base of sun or from the cloud. So cloud can use the scattering of the light. Uh, Sometimes what is radiation that fall onto the earth or some of the waters fall onto the water. As we know, the maximum contribution in the earth is the water. That's why when certain light fall onto the earth, uh, that light get distributed in different directions, and because of that one, the color of the sky that can able to observe the blue. And if you say when there is a no moon or no sunlight, what going to happen? You can able in the nights you can able to see the blackish color. What happened? Why this is because of the light in the days the light scattering takes place, and because of that one the color is there. So in the case of this chapter, we absorption we are going to study, scattering going to be study, transmission we going to be study. Okay, so absorption means what? It's a absorb means खींच लेते हैं. यूवी स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोपी एंड एब्जॉर्प्शन स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोपी. वहां पे सब्सटेंस क्या करेंगे, मटेरियल क्या करेंगे, रेडिएशन एब्जॉर्ब करेंगे. सो दैट वी गोइंग टू बी स्टडी. स्कैटरिंग मींस व्हाट? जब उसके ऊपर रेडिएशन गिरेगी उस सब्सटेंस के ऊपर, वो क्या करेगा, रेडिएशन एब्जॉर्ब करेगा और डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन में रेडिएशन पास करेंगे. अगर आप यहाँ पे देखोगे तो एब्जॉर्प्शन है, एब्जॉर्ब कर रहे हैं. लेकिन स्कैटरिंग क्या करेंगे, ऐसे डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन पे रेडिएशन पास करेंगे. ठीक है. देन certain type is that there is a transmitted, it passes from the soil or anything else, water also. So that is a transmission. So transmission that we're going to be studying in the IS spectroscopy, whereas scattering that we studied in the case of nephelautometry and fluorometry. These are the two chapters that we have included in our syllabus to study the scattering. So basically IR and UV absorption and transmission is there, and scattering that we're going to be study, and whole things are there that we are going to be definition or small part we can explain in the this photon beam interactions. So whatever the photon, the thing about the energy, the excess energy that going to be generated. One thing you just must remember: whatever the atom is there or electron is there, it is having its own energy. Then when we passes the certain energy, then if that both the energy get matched, they can absorb the energy. So we're going to be study the absorption or the attenuation, removal of radiation from the beam by the matter. Attenuation में occurs due to the, अब attenuation हमें मिलता कब है, जब वहाँ पे scattering होती है, जब वहाँ पे absorption होता है, then it gives the attenuation. Absorption means what? It takes up the energy from the beam of irradiate. When radiation हम pass करते हैं matter के ऊपर जाती है, matter means substance are there, तो substance क्या करने लगते हैं, वो energy absorb करने लगते हैं, which is important in producing the radiobiological effects or in material or soft tissue. You can study the any in case of pharmaceuticals, what we're going to do, we take the any kind of substance. Okay, so that substance we dissolve in a particular solution and we keep in a UV instrument. So what going to be happen, we pass the UV radiations. So as radiation is get passed, that substance get absorb that radiation, and that absorption that we at what level they get going to be absorbed, that we're going to be identify. Then there is a scattering. Report to change the what is going to be happen as we discussed. They're going to be in different directions. So whatever the radiation through which that radiation or through which that EMR comes fall onto the particular things, and after the falling, what going to be happen? They propagate in a different directions, changing direction of the photons, and it contribute to both attenuation and absorption. Okay. सो इट कंट्रीब्यूट्स टू बोथ, वहाँ पे आपको एब्जॉर्प्शन भी होगा और एटेन्यूएशन भी होगा. ट्रांसमिशन इज द अनदर टाइप. इट इज द not depend upon attenuation, absorption or scattering, does not suffer any above process, and it directly transmitted. That is the transmission part. So we're going to study on this all, how is interaction. This is the generally there is an interaction of the electromagnetic radiation with the substance, that we have to be study in detail by the use of the uh, this means electromagnetic radiation with the interaction of matter. So learning outcome of the second point that we covers up till now. Then through which outcome for the four that we discuss it later on, third that comes under this one, that is the chromatography. If you as you know, chroma means there is a separation of the mixture of drug. We discussed detail in the chromatography when it start with the chapter, but up till now we must know that what is the chromatography is nothing but the separation technique. Everybody know about, most of one are going to be know about that one, separation of the drugs. We can having a mixture of drug, and through this mixture we can separate the drug. Generally how we separate the drug? On the basis of adsorption, on the basis of the partition. Adsorb means what? It attracted towards certain substance by the use of column. Partition means what? There is an equal distribution of the substance takes place. Okay. Through which they are going to be travels. Some are travels with a faster rate, some are travels with a lesser rate. So generally, main classification adsorption and partition, in which there is a comes paper, TLC, GC, HPLC, everything comes under this class. And separation also takes place by the use of electrophoresis, like gel electrophoresis. Uh, then affinity, on the basis of affinity, this attraction takes place, through which there is a separation takes place, and ion exchange. Through the ion exchange also we can dull the separation. Out of is the GC and HPLC mostly, and in the TLC also HPTLC. These are the three instruments are there mostly used in the case of drug studies in the research lab. So and out of the GC and HPLC, these are the practically we have to study these both the chapters, that is included in practical part. So by this technique, what going to be happen? So we study the various chromatograph techniques. So these are the comes under learning outcomes of our third point. And in the fourth point of learning outcome, what we study in the fourth point, we going to be study about the by the use of this chromatographic technique, by the use of spectroscopic technique, qualitative and quantitative analysis. The maximum absorption is there when it maximum absorption takes place, when there is a concentration of analytes is more. So we can, on the basis of that one, you can identify the concentration. You can also identify the purity of the drug, quality also there. By the using the spectroscopy as well as the chromatographic technique, we can identify how much pure is your drug. Its purity it get identified by the use of chromatographic technique. So this whole part that we have to be study in our whole syllabus. So as per this one we have to be study. So thank you very much for your patience listening. In the next lecture we start with the our first chapter. Thank you very much.